Today we will be making cauliflower crusted pizza. Step 1. Gather your ingredients. 1 12-ounce bag frozen rice cauliflower. 1/3 cup shredded mozzarella cheese for the crust and 3/4 cup mozzarella cheese for the topping. 1 tablespoon Parmesan cheese. 1 egg. 1 teaspoon onion powder. 1 teaspoon Italian seasoning. Half a teaspoon salt. Half a teaspoon pepper. 1/4 cup pizza sauce. Step 2. Preheat the oven. Preheat the oven to 400 degrees, then hit start. Step 3. Steam the cauliflower. Next, you're going to follow the microwave steaming directions for the cauliflower rice. Follow the directions that are found on the back of the bag, and allow it time to cool for a couple of minutes before attempting to move it, otherwise you will burn your fingers. Empty the cauliflower into a colander to drain out as much liquid as possible. If there's not a lot of liquid, you may skip this step. Grab a clean towel and dump the cauliflower into the center of it. Over a bowl, squeeze out all of the water from the cauliflower. The liquid is going to be very hot, so make sure you wait a few minutes for it to cool before you start this step. The cauliflower should look quite dry and release very little to no liquid once it's squeezed out and it's been sufficiently drained. It should resemble a dough-like texture. This is one of the most important steps of the whole recipe. If this step is not done correctly, your crust will start to fall apart when you try to put it together. When finished, put the cauliflower into a new bowl.
Finally, you're going to add all the remaining ingredients. I start by adding the cheeses. I also put all of my spices into the same custard cup, which is completely fine since you are going to be mixing them all in at the same time. Then, once everything is added, you can mix it all together with a rubber scraper. Try to make sure it's thoroughly mixed together and you don't have chunks of spices in it as well. Next, you're going to line your metal baking sheet with parchment paper. Dump the dough onto the parchment paper. Then you're going to use either your fingers or your spatula to form a thin crust. This can be in whatever shape you want, a circle, a square, it does not matter. While you're pushing the dough, please try to make sure that it's a thin, even crust the whole way across. Next, you're going to pop it into the oven for 20 to 25 minutes. You'll know it's done whenever the crust becomes a little bit crispy on the outside, or brown. Next, you're going to add your pizza sauce. Do not feel like you need to add all of the sauce that you were given. Just add enough to add a thin layer across the top of your crust. If you add too much sauce, your dough will become soggy. Finally, you're going to add your cheese. If you do not want to add all the cheese that's required in the recipe, that is fine as well. I'm going to add additional toppings of some green pepper to make it a vegan pizza. Once you're done with the toppings, pop it back in the oven for 8 to 10 minutes till the crust starts to crisp back up. It's very hard to get this crust crispy, so the more liquid you can drain out, the better. But this is the finished product. Check out some of these other fun ways that you can use vegetables to substitute for a healthy alternative of another food.